Voters in Jasper County are being asked to approve a sales tax to create a fund for children's services. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
Plus, a Southeast Kansas store along Route 66 celebrates its 100th birthday.
President Trump beginning the process of dismantling the Department of Education. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A federal grand jury indicts a Commerce, Oklahoma man and a woman for the murder of a toddler. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. In addition to a charge of second-degree murder in Indian country, Daniel Allen Ash and Amber Dawn Murphy have been charged with neglecting 4 other children. The two are accused of unlawfully killing a 2-year-old in their care. They were arrested in the case originally in September of 2024 when the crime happened and remain in jail. Ash has also been charged with aggravated sexual abuse of a minor in Indian country. Jasper County voters will soon be asked to approve a 1/4-cent sales tax to create a children's services fund. The tax would generate $5 million annually for children in Jasper County. KOAM's Samantha Walker spoke to organizers to learn why they say the fund would provide stable funding for area organizations.
The Jasper County 4Kids Coalition is made up of volunteers and organizations, hoping to help support area children. They came together when they saw Jasper County's rank drop within Missouri Kids Count, a nonprofit that tracks the well-being of children in all 114 counties in Missouri, from best to worst. In 2024, Jasper County ranked 98th.
Agencies who work with children, the schools, other agencies that work with children, and they've just seen it. And they know this is an opportunity to possibly have additional services that could improve those scores again.
They're asking voters to approve a 1/4-cent sales tax to create the Children's Services Fund. Funds would be required to stay within Jasper County, helping give stable funding for mental health, prevention, and drug and alcohol treatment services.
I think there are many examples here in town or here in the county of shortfalls, not because they're not providing good service. They are. We have great agencies providing great service, but sometimes there are more children to serve than there are spaces in a given service.
If approved, funds would go to organizations like here at Rafa International to help support their mental health services for children in Jasper County.
Mental health services are very rare in the area. All of our therapists hold long waiting lists, and that's the truth for other agencies as well.
If Rafa International were to receive support from the fund, they say it would go to help their Hope and Healing Center.
A fund like this would really help us to offer more consistent services, make more services available to people, and help families who might face financial burdens or barriers whenever they're accessing mental health treatment.
10 other counties in Missouri have used the state statutes to establish a Children's Services Fund. Jasper County for Kids says those counties have seen improvements to their children's well-being. They want the same for Jasper County.
What this initiative represents, I think, is just all of us taking responsibility for caring for the children in our own communities, in our own county, and making sure that everyone has access to the treatment that they need.
Reporting in Jasper County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
If passed, the sales tax supporting the fund would have no set end date. Jasper County voters will see the proposition on their ballots April 8th. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Thursday for us today. A little bit chilly, but we didn't have the extreme winds like we have seen over the past couple days. 53 was our high, cold start of 30, average high 61, record high 94. So way back in 1907. Through the night, slide back lower for 40s. We may dip to 38, 40 degrees. Back to 52 by 10 a.m., but the winds start to pick up once again tomorrow. Not as strong as what we saw the past couple days, but still gusts out of the south, 35, 40, 42, 43 miles per hour as we get into Friday. Have some clouds rotating in. A weak little wave is going to start to push in as we go through Friday. Most of the rain will stay northeast of us, but we will get some clouds, but we pop into the 60s for afternoon highs. Thunderstorm chances as well. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Officials in Lamar, Missouri begin repairs after vandals destroy parts of the bathrooms at Wheeler Park. They say the park experienced 2 separate incidents this week alone. Officials close park bathrooms during the winter to avoid breakage from the cold temperatures and usually open back up in the spring. They say these vandalism incidents may cause delays and expect the repairs will cost more than $1,000. Authorities respond to a vehicular accident in Crawford County this morning involving a pedestrian. The reports came in at around 11:16 at the intersection of K47 and 190th in rural Girard. Police say Erin O'Connell, an 18-year-old from Pittsburgh, was crossing the highway when she was struck by a pickup. EMS transported O'Connell to an area hospital where she was flown to Tulsa for further treatment. She is listed in critical condition. One of the most iconic stores on Route 66 is celebrating 100 years. Nelson's old Riverton store, formerly known as the Williams store when it was built in 1925, has been a staple in the 4 states for a century. Anthony Saviello takes us there and reflects on how things haven't really changed.
The same store in the same place for 100 years. And in that time, things have pretty much stayed, well, the same. That is, except for the name.
Nothing had really changed because I'd been running it for my aunt and uncle are up in years at that point. And so I've been maintaining the store for them and running it and that kind of thing. But then it just, officially became mine.
Scott Nelson took over in 2010, but under new management didn't mean new everything.
Even when I deal with our wholesalers and they've got something coming on and they're changing something, I said, well, you come over here someday and you'll see why I don't exactly want to change the way you want to change, because we kind of like it the way we've got it here.
A few updates to be sure.
When my aunt and uncle bought the store in '73, they expanded the deli. Back in the 60s and 70s, you could buy bologna and chopped ham and a couple cheeses. So that's about all that they had. But, they came from Chicago and they were used to Chicago delis. And so they tried to bring all that in and updated the deli.
But that iconic old school Route 66 feel hasn't left.
That was my Aunt Isabel Eisler, that when they bought the store, that was her goal, to keep this store as it was.
It's a place where familiar faces and new ones can enjoy a piece of history with hundreds of stories within its walls.
One of the ladies on the trip said that her mother or grandmother worked here in 1939. And she said, in that Coke box we have, that was the year they brought it in. It was brand new in 1939. We still have it, we still use it. But so I found, people will tell me things that I don't know.
Who knows what the next 100 years could bring?
I won't be here, but hopefully the store will still be here, going as long as it can. So at least we made it this far. It's pretty good. That's a pretty good sign that it'll be here for a while.
On historic Route 66, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Nelson Old Riverton store is planning an even bigger birthday celebration in May. Well, coming up, COVID 5 years later.
COVID-19 grounded travel for months, but in the 5 years since, it's taken off again. I'm CB Cotton in New York with how the pandemic impacted travel and tourism ahead.
And later, Joplin's first third Thursday of the year kicks off with sunshine, art, and good food. See how the community turned the downtown green. As we continue our series, COVID 5 years later, tonight we explore how the pandemic reshaped how people travel. While trips have taken off again in the years post-COVID, the industry is not what it used to be. Fox News correspondent CB Cotton has details.
It's been a long journey getting Globetrotters back out into the world post-pandemic. In 2020, Americans were locked down with flights grounded, cruises docked, and all non-essential travel halted. And the months that followed, passengers slowly returned to once empty airports, navigating social distancing, mask mandates, and staffing shortages. And now,
what we're seeing is people are taking the trip. They're not postponing it. They're not waiting for kids to be off school. And they're not only taking one trip, they're taking multiple trips.
Americans are now traveling year-round, not just during peak seasons, thanks to the growing flexibility for many to work from anywhere.
They want to enjoy these beautiful destinations and activities and, work from home, and that remote availability has really increased that opportunity.
Tourists also shifting what they want in a destination, favoring less crowded locations, personalized experiences, and an increased focus on mental health and well-being.
Everyone is thinking about, they're stressed out, they're tired, they're burnt out. How can I go travel and experience that I'm creating a healing moment?
Across the industry, those new demands mean big changes.
The suppliers are really putting a strong emphasis on health. They're putting it on cleaning, and they have great insurance opportunities available to help protect consumers.
The pandemic was not smooth sailing for the cruise industry, but cruising has bounced back in a big way.
They were the last industry to really rebound from COVID. Post-pandemic, they are creating an experience. They enhanced their ships during COVID. They created more inventory as well.
Air travel has been slower to get off the ground.
The global airline capacity is only 2.4% above 2019 levels. That's been hindered by aircraft shortages, having trained crew deficits. There's not enough staff.
Despite any turbulence, experts say travel continues to evolve, leaning heavily into technology.
We're going to start understanding how technology can help anticipate needs of consumers better, how we can provide more time-saving services.
With an eye on what travel could look like 5 years from now.
I think supersonic flights are going to make a full dramatic return. Cold destinations are going to be the biggest trend with global temperatures rising. Global wellness is going to go even more insane.
Another change we could see in the coming years, a resurgence in travelers using travel agents, especially among younger generations. In New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
Well, as our COVID 5 Years Later series continues, tomorrow night we take a look at the impact on education. Well, night owls face a higher risk of depression. A study published in the journal PLOS found people who stay up late have a higher rate of depression than morning people, likely due to poor sleep quality and higher alcohol consumption. The authors of the study say this information can be particularly useful in battling and preventing depression in young people who have a tendency to stay up late. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later the latest World Happiness Report.
A new survey shows that Europeans are happier than ever, but that Americans are lagging behind. I'm Greg Falcon, London. That's my story. Coming up.
Well, not a bad Thursday for us today. A little bit on the cool side, high temps, low to mid 50s, but we're going to really warm up as we head toward the weekend. All right, it's Thursday, Drought Tracker Day. It always updates on Thursday. We really want to watch this in the spring months and then heading into the summer. Kansas, Oklahoma, not bad, just about normal. We still have this little finger of a moderate drought from Benton County, really from Grand Lake, Benton County, Monette, east side of Joplin, Carthage, up towards Stockton Lake, and then dry around it. So we need some rain. We can always use it, especially in the spring months, and we're going to get some as we head into the weekend. All right, dropping through the lower 40s down to 39, rebounding to 52 by 10 a.m., but the winds start to pick back up on Friday. Not as strong as what we had on Wednesday, but still south winds gusting 35, 40, 43-ish, especially during the morning hours. They calm down a bit Friday night and then slowly crank up again as we go into Saturday. Saturday not as strong, but still we're going to have gusts kind of in that 20 to 25 mile per hour range. Clear skies for us, but you can see the clouds increasing out to our west. So mostly cloudy skies late tonight through tomorrow morning. Here's our weak little wave, second wave, which will affect us on Saturday, moving into the Pacific Northwest. All right, hour by hour, let's go. We're going to stop during the morning, about time, heading out the door, 40, 41 degrees. A lot of mid and upper level clouds through the morning. Here's the noon hour, 59, Lamar, Anderson, 62 at Grand Lake. I think most of us will top out, so here's 4:30, 66, 67, maybe 68 degrees, so a little bit above where we should be for this time of the year. Pretty much clear skies Friday night into Saturday morning. A little cool. We drop back into the upper 30s, but Saturday looks pretty good. A lot of mid and upper level clouds. Look at this, most of us 69 to about 72 degrees. Saturday evening, let's keep our eyes on it. Clouds increase Here's 8:30 p.m. Scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up Kansas, Oklahoma. Some of these guys could be strong. They're going to be elevated based, so not surface based. Surface based are the ones we get bigger tornadoes from. Elevated, usually wind and hail. And that's what we're going to see as we get into Saturday evening, pushing through. So some of those guys could be strong, maybe low grade severe. So we'll keep our eyes on that over the next couple days. 43 in the morning, 58 by noon. High temp, 67 on your Friday. What about your weekend? 71 Saturday, strong to low grade severe storms Saturday evening. 66 on Sunday. We'll have some morning storms, but I think Sunday afternoon looks pretty good. But overall, temperatures are shaping up fairly nice as we head into the weekend. On your Friday, 67, 71 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday, a little cooler on Monday. And then look at this stretch of 70s right back in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of next week, but also some rain chances. Tanya?
All right, thanks. It was definitely nice to get some sunshine and a break from the wind for Joplin's first Third Thursday event of the year. Downtown Joplin is blocked off for 3 hours in the evening on the third Thursday of every month from March through October. The monthly cultural event features local artisans, music, entertainment, and of course, food. This month's theme, Go Green Downtown.
Yeah, it feels great. I'm really excited being out in the community at the first Third Thursday of the year and just, getting to interact with the community.
So it's a bunch of fun. We love doing local events. We love being out, being able to give back to the community. We love making jewelry for everybody.
The theme for April's Third Thursday is Be a Hero, sponsored by Vert's Neighborhood Dispensary. Well, coming up, Tesla targeted.
Tesla vehicles and dealerships targeted by vandals across the country. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with why the White House is calling these incidents domestic terrorism.
If you own a Tesla, you might want to be careful about where you park it. There's been a string of vandalism incidents targeting the electric vehicles and dealerships since CEO Elon Musk took a prominent role in the Trump administration. As Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, the White House is even going as far to call the attacks domestic terrorism.
Teslas set ablaze at a Las Vegas service center earlier this week, with the culprit leaving behind the word resist. In Oregon, shots were fired at a dealership, and in Massachusetts, charging stations were torched. Just a few examples of vandals targeting Tesla across the country.
We have charged multiple people. Get ready, more coming. We believe these are organized. These are not individuals out there throughout the country doing this on their own.
Elon Musk's company has become a clear target since he aligned himself with President Donald Trump and started slashing government jobs and spending.
Do you consider this an act of domestic terrorism?
Sure, I think so. I think that you will find out that they're paid by people that are very highly political on the left.
There was even a website now taken down sharing the personal information of Tesla owners to pressure them to sell their vehicles.
It's despicable, the violence that has taken place against Tesla, the company, its employees, and also just Americans who have chosen to drive an electric vehicle. We would like Democrats to also come out and condemn this heinous violence that we have seen.
This is going to be my last trip in this car.
Instead, Democratic lawmakers have mostly jumped on board with the Tesla takedown, selling their vehicles and praising the company's plummeting stock.
$225 and dropping.
Tesla was also removed from this week's Vancouver International Auto Show, with organizers citing safety concerns. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, the president's trade policies could also cause a dip in foreign visitors, and that's according to a report from Tourism Economics. The travel analytics firm predicts the U.S. could see a 5% drop in foreign tourists this year. The report also says a decrease in foreign travelers combined with a slowdown in domestic travel by Americans could end up costing the industry around $64 billion in 2025. Well, later, kids at Wildcat Glades get creative, turning simple stones into one-of-a-kind necklaces. The Wildcat Glades Education Cottage held a rock wrapping program today, giving kids the chance to turn simple stones into unique necklaces by wrapping them in wire. Limited to 25 participants, the event encouraged children to gain a new appreciation for rocks while creating something special.
We love getting kids to think about different aspects of nature. So it makes sense that if you value the rocks, then you're going to take care of the rocks. So we try to form everything that we do around something nature related.
6 volunteers along with staff helped guide the kids through the craft, with parents joining in to make it a fun, hands-on family experience. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. President Trump takes a big step towards dismantling the Department of Education, what it means for schools and students. And Finland tops the World Happiness Report again. So why are Americans falling behind?
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. President Trump takes drastic action today to fulfill a campaign promise. He signed an executive order aimed at gutting the Department of Education. Connor Hansen has the details.
President Trump signing an executive order Thursday to begin dismantling the Department of Education. The move bringing a longtime Republican talking point and key issue on the campaign trail a step closer to becoming reality. Citing high spending and low test scores, the Trump administration says it's time to return more responsibility to the states.
We trust teachers and educators in their respective schools to make these very important decisions about our children's education and their futures. And the current status quo is failing our students.
Education Secretary Linda McMahon will be tasked with taking steps to pare down her department. Like at other agencies, DEI programs will likely be first on the chopping block. Democrats and teacher unions are pushing back, saying the most vulnerable students will be hurt the most.
So a kid who has disabilities, a kid who is poor, a kid who's going to Head Start, a kid who's in a rural area, kid who is in a career tech ed program, a kid who gets a Pell Grant, a kid who's limited English proficient. Every single one of those kids, which are essentially most of our kids in public schools.
Getting rid of the agency completely would require congressional approval, including at least 7 votes from Senate Democrats. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, fighting continues in Ukraine as the U.S. works to mediate a ceasefire. Both Russian and Ukrainian leaders agreed in principle to stop attacks on energy infrastructure, but a timeline remains unclear. Meanwhile, military chiefs are meeting in London to discuss a possible peacekeeping force. Well, Finland is the happiest country in the world for the 8th year in a row. But as Greg Palcott reports, America is falling further behind.
It's clean and the air is fresh, and yeah, what's there not to love?
Happy residents of Helsinki, Finland say there's a good reason they're ranked #1 on the World Happiness Report for the 8th year in a row. They say the country is clean, quiet, and there's a high level of trust in both the government and individuals.
On many levels in the society, we try to support each other.
After Finland, the top 5 happiest countries are rounded out by Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and the Netherlands, with the rankings based on answers people give when asked to rate their own lives.
We are really calm, so we have the time to think about things like live our life really peacefully.
But Americans aren't as happy these days. The U.S. fell to number 24 on the list, its lowest ranking ever. Researchers cited increasing isolation, financial pressure, and low levels of trust as some of the main drivers of American unhappiness.
Knowing that other people would return your wallet or believing that actually makes us 7 times happier than if we doubled our incomes.
Overall, this year's survey showed wealth was not a significant factor influencing happiness around the world, and the best way to feel better is to seek out connections in small ways, like sharing meals with others.
We often think it's something internal, that if we just tried a little harder, or maybe there's some secret sauce, but really the secret sauce is other people.
And happiness wasn't necessarily impacted by world events. Israel came in at number 8 on the list, despite the war with Hamas. In London, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, protecting your family.
For National Poison Prevention Week, a local doctor says how you can protect you and your family. I'm Lonnie Walton and Anderson. I'll have that story coming up.
Well, not a bad Thursday for us today. A little bit on the cool side, high temps, low to mid 50s, but we're going to really warm up as we head toward the weekend. All right, it's Thursday, Drought Tracker Day. It always updates on Thursday. We really want to watch this in the spring months and then heading into the summer. Kansas, Oklahoma, not bad, just about normal. We still have this little finger of a moderate drought from Benton County, really from Grand Lake, Benton County, Monette, east side of Joplin, Carthage, up towards Stockton Lake, and then dry around it. So we need some rain. We can always use it, especially in the spring months, and we're going to get some as we head into the weekend. All right, dropping through the lower 40s down to 39, rebounding to 52 by 10 a.m., but the winds start to pick back up on Friday. Not as strong as what we had on Wednesday, but still south winds gusting 35, 40, 43-ish, especially during the morning hours. They calm down a bit Friday night and then slowly crank up again as we go into Saturday. Saturday not as strong, but still we're going to have gusts kind of in that 20 to 25 mile per hour range. Clear skies for us, but you can see the clouds increasing out to our west. So mostly cloudy skies late tonight through tomorrow morning. Here's our weak little wave, second wave, which will affect us on Saturday, moving into the Pacific Northwest. All right, hour by hour, let's go. We're going to stop during the morning. About time heading out the door, 40, 41 degrees. A lot of mid and upper level clouds through the morning. Here's the noon hour, 59, Lamar, Anderson, 62 at Grand Lake. I think most of us will top out, so here's 4:30, 66, 67, maybe 68 degrees, so a little bit above where we should be for this time of the year. Pretty much clear skies Friday night into Saturday morning. A little cool. We drop back into the upper 30s, but Saturday looks pretty good. A lot of mid and upper level clouds. Look at this, most of us 69 to about 72 degrees. Saturday evening, let's keep our eyes on it. Clouds increase. Here's 8:30 p.m. Scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up Kansas, Oklahoma. Some of these guys could be strong. They're going to be elevated base, so not surface base. Surface base are the ones we get bigger tornadoes from. Elevated, usually wind and hail, and that's what we're going to see as we get into Saturday evening, pushing through. So some of those guys could be strong, maybe low grade severe. So we'll keep our eyes on that over the next couple days. 43 in the morning, 58 by noon. High temp, 67 on your Friday. What about your weekend? 71 Saturday, strong to low grade severe storms Saturday evening. 66 on Sunday. We'll have some morning storms, but I think Sunday afternoon looks pretty good. But overall, temperatures are shaping up fairly nice as we head into the weekend. On your Friday, 67, 71 on Saturday, 66 on Sunday, a little cooler on Monday, and then look at this stretch of 70s right back in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of next week, but also some rain chances. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up in sports, Pitt State women's basketball previews its trip to the Elite Eight. Plus, Carthage High School baseball faces East Newton on opening day. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Pittsburg State women's basketball hits the practice floor this afternoon in preparation for its trip to the Elite Eight. The Gorillas will face Lubbock Christian on Monday night. That's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And right now they're keeping their head down and not paying attention to any of the outside noise.
Just kind of focusing on being true to ourselves and doing what we do because, we know nothing about these teams we're going to go see and just kind of doing what's got us here up to this point because, we've done a lot of good things this year and so just kind of taking each of those and keep continuing to grow on us.
We haven't really looked back much. We haven't really looked forward much. It's just what's next. And so I think just to look at Lubbock Christian and just try to stay in your routines as much as possible. And that's what I think it is, just such a hard place to be in where you really do want to take it in. But if you do that too long, you start to lose time and lose focus and all those things. So it's been, it seems like the time is just going through the hourglass so fast, like water, not sand. I mean, it's running so fast. And so we're just trying to really keep up.
And this morning, Pittsburgh State Senior Grace Pyle receives honorable mention All-America status, which makes her the 10th player in program history to be named an All-American and the first since 2018. Because the team was practicing while those lists get released, Pyle didn't know about it until hearing this question.
This morning you got named an All-American. What does that mean to you?
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Individual accolades though don't happen without great teammates. So I'm just really have to shout out my teammates for pushing me to be the best player I can and helping me get there. That's awesome.
You didn't know that?
I had no idea. No, thank you for telling me that.
Just over a week ago, Carthage High School holds a ribbon-cutting ceremony at its brand-new baseball stadium. This afternoon, the Tigers play their first game there. Carthage against East Newton on opening day. Top of the first is where we pick it up. Bases loaded. Braxton Wolf grounds to third. Tigers get one out, but they can't turn the double play. That means 2 runs will score, and the Patriots take a 2-0 lead. We go ahead to the bottom of the inning. Carthage already with 3 runs, and Taylor Stevens Diggs comes racing home on a wild pitch, and he's safe. Tigers lead 4-2. To the second, runner on third, Jordan Brunnert hits a weak ground ball. Can't make the play there, though, and the run will score. Tigers lead by 3. Next inning, Carthage up 5, man on second. Brunnert again, nice hit up the middle. Carson Reinhart with a diving stop. That prevents a run from scoring, but next batter, Blaine Lillenkamp hits a grounder. That will score the run. Tigers now up 8-2. We go to the top of the fourth. Man on first, Tucker Larson hits one into right field. That'll drop down. He's got a stand-up double. East Newton, though, can't tack on anymore. The Tigers would cruise to a 13-3 victory in their home opener. Today's also the first day of March Madness. We've got 16 different first-round games in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Earlier this evening, 10-seed Arkansas takes down Kansas. Final score in that one, 79-72. That ends the Jayhawks season, and it's the first time that they get bounced in the round of 64 since 2006. Over in Wichita, Mizzou gets upset in its first round game. The Tigers fall to Drake 67-57. The Bulldogs are led by head coach Ben McCollum. He came over from Northwest Missouri, a Division II MIAA school. Their leading scorer, Bennett Sturtz, he's also a Bearcat transfer, and he's one of 4 players to follow McCollum from Northwest to Drake. They lead the Bulldogs to the second round of the tournament for the first time since 1971. That's it for sports. We're back after this.
This week marks a National Poison Prevention Week, a time to raise awareness about the dangers of poisoning and how to prevent it. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke to a pharmacist from Alps Pharmacy in Anderson, Missouri, about the challenges he's seen, particularly when it comes to overdosing.
I'm Lonnie Walton in Alps Pharmacy. I spoke to a local doctor, and he says there are several things you can do to protect yourself from drug poisoning.
I have to go to the doctors every 3 months.
Linda Davis is a customer at Alps Pharmacy in Anderson. She says she has to use drugs daily, but she knows how to keep herself from making major mistakes.
Mine are all separated out for me. I don't ever keep them together because that's how you make mistakes.
And she's correct. Separation is key, according to Dr. Cody York.
I've seen people bring in bottles that have 2 and 3 different medicines in it and aren't sure what they are, and that is very, very dangerous.
And Dr. York says he really means this.
Even if it's a medication you've been on and it's an old bottle and you want to put it in the new, absolutely do not do that.
Dr. York says labels are important, therefore make sure it's there.
If you have an unlabeled product, never ingest it unless you are 100% sure you know what it is.
Davis says she knows exactly where to go when she needs help.
Have any issues too, I call down here.
So anytime you're taking something over the counter and you're unsure of how to use it, I would highly recommend you call the pharmacy and talk to a pharmacist. We can kind of guide you through that dosing.
And lastly, let's not forget about those kids.
Keep your medication in a cabinet locked out of reach. If you are able to reach it, they are probably able to figure out how to reach it as well.
Reporting in Anderson, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
In addition, health experts say never share prescription medicines. Up next, revenge, road trips, and laughs from Ana de Armas ballerina to John Legend's big tour. We've got your headlines coming up in Hollywood Nation. Ted Lasso star Brett Goldstein has a new show coming to HBO, and Ana de Armas faces off with Keanu Reeves. Fox's Annie Elopoulos has those stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
checking in.
De Armas seeks revenge, Legend plans a road trip, and Goldstein brings the laughs in the Hollywood nation. Ted Lasso star Brett Goldstein lands his first comedy special. Brett Goldstein, The Second Best Night of Your Life, will debut on HBO in April. It will also be available to stream on Max. Goldstein wrote and executive produced the stand-up special and has been on the road touring the show.
This ain't a movie, no.
John Legend is hitting the road to celebrate. The Grammy-winning singer announced the Get Lifted World Tour in honor of the 20th anniversary of his debut album of the same name. He will perform 41 shows across the UK and North America starting May 27th.
I love you.
I love you too. In today's First Looks, real-life married couple Allison Brie and Dave Franco star in the horror romance Together. They play a couple whose relationship and lives are threatened when they encounter a mysterious dark force after moving to the country. The film opens in theaters August 1st.
So if any aliens are listening, please come and get me. Okay, bye, I love you.
Disney released the trailer for its next Pixar film, Elio. It follows an 11-year-old boy whose wish of being abducted by an alien comes true after he's mistaken for the ruler of Earth. The animated space adventure lands in theaters June 20th.
I'd like to go hunting.
Lionsgate dropped the trailer to the spin-off from the world of John Wick, Ballerina. Ana de Armas leads as Eve Maccaro, a Russian ballerina turned assassin hunting down the men who killed her family. Keanu Reeves stars as John Wick, who will face off with Maccaro when the film arrives in theaters June 6th. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of twin pandas playing at the Berlin Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.